What's up, guys? It's Chris. Welcome to VHP Engines. All right, so some disclaimers off rip, so that way there's no confusion. I know Jeff. I am on the dealer's list, but I do not work for Jeff. I am not in his shop or whatnot. But this video I felt the need to make to clarify things when people come to ask me. Because of the fact that the way I sell the blocks, if you have like a general understanding of the prices, and you're coming to me and you're looking at this and then you're seeing or you remember hearing that, I want to explain what exactly that you're paying for and what you should be thinking about when you are buying these blocks. All right, so first off, if you go to vhpengines.com, you will see listings for the 700 horsepower or 800 horsepower or like 800 horsepower, 900 horsepower for the K series. I believe that is what the situation is. And you have two versions of CSS. You have the normal standard low horsepower version of CSS, and then you have the high horsepower version of CSS. They are slightly different in design. One is warranted for a higher horsepower rating than the other. They are similar in performance. A lot of times what makes or breaks the difference in how well the CSS performs, when you're pushing for the higher horsepower levels, is the O-rings. All right, so now, when people order a high horsepower CSS block from me, there's been some times where they're like, "Well, it says this much price. How come I'm paying this much?" All right. So when you're coming to me for a CSS block, like, "Hey, I want a CSS block. Send me one." I am providing your core, and I also have to cover the cost of shipping, which is multiple directions because it's shipping the core to CSS, and then have the CSS block shipped to you. All right. Now, so there's that plus the actual fees of the machine work and all that good stuff. And then, of course, there's the cost of the course. So that's why when you're seeing like a $900 price tag, you have to consider that, that the CSS and the core, that's the majority of the price right there. And then a little bit of extra cost from shipping. All right. Anyway, so, and another reason why I talk about the O-rings is because it's one of those things where, like, when people come to me and they truly want to maximize their block, they're like, well, the extra $200 comes from O-ring. You're like, well, I'm already paying the extra money for a higher horsepower CSS. Why am I paying extra money on top of that? Well, again, like I said, the CSS itself works very similar to both. Both versions are very similar in power capabilities, and the differing factor being the O-rings. Which O-rings, for those of you who don't know, it's the copper O-rings that are embedded into the top of the cylinders that help seal the head gasket to help prevent head gasket failures at high horsepower. Now, what I will say for recommendations, right? Because the basic CSS and the higher horsepower CSS are so similar in power capabilities, I always just recommend going out with the full high horsepower CSS, even if you don't plan on making use of all the power it's capable of. I mean, if you're going to get CSS because you're crossing that threshold where you need some sleeve reinforcement and you're paying that kind of money that you're paying for the total sum cost, might as well pay the extra $100. Don't have to in all situations. If you want to manage your build, I've always recommended that you build for the power you expect to make. So if you're going to be under what CSS is needed for, then yeah, you can go with the more basic and save the $100, and you're just doing it for the extra, for the extra stability, then by all means do so. But if you are legit getting a high horsepower CSS block because you're going to plan on maximizing that power, then you need to go with the O-rings, and the O-rings are going to cost you an extra $200. It seems like CSS's website is like a one-page website, and it changes a lot for different information. It doesn't seem like the price is listed there, but going off memory, it's a $200 increase. Now, yeah, so that's pretty much it. Which is said for the longest time. I said I was gonna make this video forever, and I didn't, and it's because of this. It's a really short video. Most of it's common sense. If you go to cylindersupportsystem.com, you see all the prices there laid out, pretty straightforward. It tells you exactly what they do. It gives you your recommendations on the website. But if you're coming to me for a block and you want to know why you're paying almost $1,000, it's because that's the reason why. I'm providing you your core, and it's just the shipping on top of that. Now, if you want to know the benefits of ordering a block through me, like through even though I don't have any CSS cores available, like I don't have anything ready to go right now for two reasons. One, because this year is sucked ass for me on income from VHP engines. So I don't have the extra money I had a year or so ago where I could just pre-order a block and have one sitting and wait to sell. I can't do that because I can't afford it right now. And then secondly is space. Even when I could afford it and I had a couple of CSS blocks, it took me like almost half a year to move those. And I do not have space enough in this house to be stacking boxes with engine blocks in them just in case somebody wants to buy them. Now, even though I don't have that, the benefits to ordering through me is because I'm on like a preferred customer list, because of the fact that I'm a dealer for them, that I do get a little bit of priority on the turnaround time. I have never waited longer than like 4.5 weeks to get a block turnaround, and I think the longest I've ever gone period from start to finish is 5 weeks, and that was because I was just waiting for the core to be sent out. Now I don't have core blocks sitting around my house either anymore. Well, I do have a couple, but I don't tend to use the few blocks that I still have because it's just less hassle for me. I put in the order through my engine block core supplier, and then the core supplier sends the block out to CSS, and then it goes from CSS to you. That's why it takes a little bit of extra time, because the machine turnaround time has never been longer than a month with CSS. Sometimes it's just a little bit longer because the core isn't always there. So it takes between a week and 2 weeks max, just from tracking from my history, to get a core ready and supplied and sent out, and then 3 to 4 weeks from that point. So generally speaking, you can expect, if you're ordering through me, to have your block at your door within a week, within a month and a week, within around that turnaround time, with a month and 1 week. All right. Where I have talked to people before in the past, and when they've reached out on their own to talk to Jeff over at CSS, they've been quoted for as much as 2 months turnaround. They're busy. They have orders all the time, and you come, you're put in the line or whatever spot you come in, unless you come through somebody like me who maybe can get you scooted up the line a little faster. So even though I do not have cores, even though I do not have CSS cores ready to go, there's that. Oh, almost forgot this. And this is the most important part. Also, you have to understand, guys, that when you're ordering a CSS core, you are ordering, for me, and you're just ordering a block. You're getting a standard bore, no machine work core. Now, you may go to some people's websites and you may talk to some people who offer the same thing, and they show you, a core is ready to, they show you like the finished product. They show you the clean, freshly machined, freshly honed, all that shit. So that way, when you see the block, it looks brand new. Now, if that's what you're expecting and you're going to order a core, then you may be a little thrown off. Like, why does this look shitty? Because the way that the CSS is installed, you need to have that finish resurfaced to have the perfect mating surface that you're looking for. And of course, if you want to have that perfect cylinder finish, you need to have pistons sent in with it as well, so that can actually do the bore and hone. Otherwise, you're getting a standard bore block, and you're also getting a block that has not been decked. So if you are ordering just a core with no machine work done, that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to see is going to be a rough cut unfinished, because you still need, at the bare minimum, to resurface the deck to get that, get the 100% flat finish. That last step to make the CSS perfect is resurfacing the block. All right. So again, the advertisement pictures for a block core with the CSS installed always looks amazing, but if you're ordering one and you just want the core without any machine work, it is going to look a little bit on the rough side when you get it. You have to resurface it at a minimum to get it to go, and if you want a fresh cylinders, you're going to need to bore and hone. Now, Cylinder Support System recommends that you bore and hone, but I would imagine that you could get away with doing a stock sleeve rebuild if you want to. But again, if you're going to spend the money for this kind of work, spend the money and finish it properly. So again, if you're thinking that like the prices are kind of high, like you're getting it, if you're getting a high horsepower core and it's already $1,000, and you're wanting to to get the bore and hone and all that stuff, the only thing I could recommend you guys is that the machine shop service fees from Cylinder Support System is great. That's the reason why they do all my machine work. Well, that's one of the two reasons why they do all my machine work. One reason being that my machine shops that are local to me, they're backed up forever. I'm in South Florida. There's a lot of people doing this shit. So they take like one time I boarded and honed with them, my local guys. It took me 6 months to get that block back. Now I do little stuff like decking and head resurfaces and shit like that. They're pretty good on, but anything major, it takes a long ass time. Again, cylinder support system, 3 to 4 week turnaround. Even if you're gonna do like the full machine work, it's still pretty quick. Also, they're really fair on the pricing. To bore, hone, and deck, it's like $350, or maybe $375 because prices did go up recently, but still amazing prices considering the fact that most machine shops charge $500 to $550 depending on how many cylinders to do that work. So even though you're paying the extra bit of money on top for the shipping and whatnot, I still think that it's more than worthwhile to go through cylinder support system if you want to do machine work. So if you want to buy a block from me, if you want to buy a core and you want to build it yourself or send it to another builder or whatever, you can still do that. Also, my prices on pistons are extremely competitive. The pistons are one of the few items that I get as of now, as of making this video. The pistons are one of the few items that I get nowadays where I can still competitively price them compared to other people, where I actually have a decent enough turnaround on them where I can still get you on average like $25 less than what most people are selling pistons for. So if you want to build your own and you want the finished machine work and you need pistons, I can get that for you the majority of the time. Now there are occasions where if you're going to get forged pistons, where if you need a specific dome, specific compression, specific size, they may not be on the shelf ready to go. So you may have to wait a little while for them to be made. But again, like I said, my piston pressings are competitive as fuck. So I can still have the core sent out and have the pistons go with the core. And then you have all your machine work done. So that way, when you get your block, the pistons come with it and it's ready to be assembled. All right, guys, so that's it. Hopefully this helps some people out for shopping CSS or whatnot. Social media links should be in the description down below. I'm going to include, Cylinder Support Systems website. My website is there. And if you got any comments or questions, leave them in the comments down below. The comment section is there for that reason. If you're coming at me in the DMs, then, I generally tend to ignore DMs unless you're trying to buy. And if you're coming to me, in the DMs, like inquiring based off of potentially buying and then don't buy, that's a good way to get ignored for like ever. All right, guys, thanks for watching and peace.